Hey everyone, RemanX here, and we're going to go through a ton of stuff that got revealed today and a lot of projections of what I expect is going to be happening based on previous times when I played this game and what to expect. And buckle up, Buttercup. You guys are in for the ride. If you guys are just tuning in and checking out my channel, you guys may not know that I have been able to pretty well predict what's going to happen in the game. Part of it was because I know games pretty well. But goodbye, Orchis. Goodbye, Nightstalkers. Goodbye, Nightstalkers, Odin, and Mephisto. We're going to see some pain points coming with a new raid that has already been promised in August sometime, based on the last strike time. Oh, and by the way, hey, there's a surprise that was in store for you if you watched today's strike time. So just to recap really quickly, they were announcing at some point they were going to do a UI upgrade so you can see what abilities your opponent had before selecting. Now, if this is on the character select screen, this is a big deal. But being able to see the abilities that the character has was always something we wanted to showcase when we were trying to select our opponents in War, Crucible, etc. And now you can see 7775. This isn't a slot machine. This is the abilities and their levels. This is the first time we've been able to see this inside of the game. This is from screenshots from the most recent strike time, so this will likely be coming in game, and it is a godsend. Absolutely something we've been waiting for a while. So going into that, I'm going to say this very, very, very directly to everybody here, that you should absolutely start building
passive stats that she gives to her.
Start building your Hellfire Club right now, because you're going to need them in raids really, really soon. And that means that with these raids around the corner, you probably will have pieces of the puzzle and then be building these raids. This raid will drop probably while we're getting the team. And that's something that they kind of evaded when they were asked directly inside of the strike time when they did the announcement for the seasonal changes here. So I think that's important to understand as well. So I'm going to show you guys a couple of tips and tricks on how to navigate the Marvel Strike Force website. This will help you guys if you want to see some of the stats in game, see the kits a lot easier, etc. So what we're going to do is we're going to go over the Hellfire kits and why I think goodbye Orchis, goodbye Nightstalkers, goodbye Odin, etc. We're gonna look at this right now. So first things first, when we go into the website, you can actually look at, now you may have seen me do this before. There's a thing called the stat table here. Now the stat table lets you sort by power. Now, just like we expected, the Hellfire Club is among the highest damage right away. You'll see Rachel Summers just outside of the top 10, Madeline Pyre in the top 15, already higher than some of the previously reworked characters that we got last year. And so we're going to click on that, because if you look at the game and you look at the characters, they have not populated as something you can easily identify yet. So you're just going to go into the stat table and you're going to go right inside of here, and you can probably navigate it a few other ways, but then you can go to Hellfire Club and you can see the full team here as well. So a couple of the factors, you guys are probably seeing a ton of the kits revealed, but we're going to go over Rachel Summers specifically. Rachel Summers does something that will mean that we'll likely see her in the raid. Okay. Protect your enemies cannot spawn with immunity or safeguard. Support enemies cannot spawn with immunity, cannot gain speed bar on spawn. Okay. Support enemies cannot gain speed bar on spawn. That means we're going to be seeing specifically our Orchis team really suffer from this. This is literally designed to end Orchis, so she will likely be on the raids. Now, that's just something they do frequently enough where it's not a surprise. So what I'm telling you is, this is tough to say, so buckle up. I did say this was going to be a tough pill to swallow. They built Franklin for them. Franklin will appear on raid nodes. Franklin specifically helps end Orchis and our friendly neighborhood Mystic team. Now that means, because it's specifically Odin, right? And that means that we're going to see some of the challenges that we were facing with building these teams. So the question is, like, is you know, Odin was filling in our Mystic spot for the raids for a lot of folks. From what I heard, I have not been able to play with them for a while and did not play this current raid, even though I had access to higher level accounts in the past. So I fully expect that we're going to see these pain points. And there's a reason why the tech team kind of has to shift a little bit. So we're going to get a new Mystic team probably within the next 2 to 3 months. And then the tech team, Annihilus will immediately make an impact. Annihilus is a tech character. I mean, I hope you guys all know that. From the lore inside of Marvel, he uses the Cosmic Control Rod, which is an ancient alien tech. He basically built himself a technical exoskeleton, which is one of the sources of his power. So he is a tech character. So usually what they try to do is they try to allow for mythics to become impactful by staggering some of the raid teams so that the mythic instantly helps, mythic or nor legendaries, instantly helps with overcoming some of the challenges that players will face. So this is a blueprint that they followed before that's yielded some success for players to feel like, okay, he's worth that chase. So we know that this month, I mean, we're going July, this is the end of July, but August, we're getting the new raids, which means we're going to have Azazel probably released in about 4 days from now, so potentially on Friday, maybe even sooner. Then we'll have about 10 days from that, we'll have Rachel, and then the last character will be Sebastian. So somewhere in there, the next week or two, we're going to see these raids drop. With the idea being that, let's not mince words. They want us to core some of the newer raids to increase the challenge level. It's something that we typically did to, you know, even though raids don't feel like the leaderboards matter quite as much, except for, you know, personal pride. All that being said, just expect that that's what's gonna happen here. So again, when I say, you know, we had, you know, Franklin in the raids shortly after the Annihilators came out. They showed up in the raids when we had those raids show up. So this is not a spotlight team. This will likely be replacing the Chaos raids because of that. So we can look at some more of the characters. I mean, I'm not going to go do a full kit breakdown. I will say build these characters. I don't think that there are, you know, Madeline is going to be pretty powerful. I think Emma's functionality with her passive, you know, we talked about some of these characters, you know, like these characters themselves, their passives alone are shutting down a lot of the teams here. So we talk about Hellfire Club cannot gain taunt. There are several characters in the game right now that can apply taunt to other targets that'll likely be in the raid, and that's something that'll be helpful. So typically, whenever you're looking for like what's going to happen in a raid and how long they're going to last, just look for when the character comes out that is the hard counter for them, and just know that we do see these raid characters, that new raid characters find their way into the raid that we're facing. So characters like Null, characters like Odin, characters like probably not Annihilus yet, although he may be featured in later iterations of this raid. So we'll see. I think it was a Crisis raid, they said, and maybe I'm mistaken. Somebody said I think there was an Annihilation raid, like teased in the game files today, right before the reset. I'm not sure. I didn't see that directly, so I'm not sure what they're going to call the new raid. But it is sooner than later. It is probably part, like they're setting us up for it. So I want you to know that this isn't a team that you're going to sleep on and build. You're going to need them for day one to push the new raids. And I'm hoping that we see the level of challenge they had with the Chaos raids, where there's a difficulty selector that really made it so that, you know, you're able to participate with harder try hard alliances and have spots. Otherwise, my spot may be gone. But that's something that, again, that we'll have to see when this goes forward. But I'm excited about the UI update. I think it's a huge win for the players. I think these raid teams are fun, so I'm going all in on Hellfire Club with a massive shift for them, for my global team going forward, global villain team, and and I'm not saying benching Orchis, but kind of bookmarking them as a team that probably will have to potentially build for the raids, but I won't probably bring them to the moon, so I'm going to have to really prioritize them since there isn't another tech team. It's going to be one of those things where, as a free-to-play new player, I'm going to have to just focus on the newer raid teams. So Vigilantes went to the moon. Obviously, we just brought up the Thunderbolts, brain fart, and we brought up the well, we didn't really spend a lot of time. So we did not bring up the Extreme X-Men, so we will be shifting into this team pretty quickly. So stay tuned. A lot more advice for the channel. Hopefully these predictions pan out, but I fully expect in the next few days, when these start to be unpacked and visible inside the game, we'll be able to determine if I was right. So just be prepared to see that, and just be ready for some questions. But again, that third character may very well be a raid character, legendary. They haven't done that since Apocalypse, but we'll see. All right. So again, I hope you guys strapped in. It's not a really big deal. This is just how these games work. And when there's a lot of things in transition, it allows for smart and engaged players to really progress their account and feel like you're accomplishing something. So stay tuned. We're going to try to keep you guys up to date with these changes and recommendations. So, Orchis will still work okay, but will be enhanced by somebody like a Nihilus. It's just, if you're bringing them to Dark Dimension as a global team, I would probably say just look at what you're able to do with the Hellfire Club, with their damage numbers, etc., and they might wind up being a better team. So we're going to look and see, just from the Hellfire Club, is there drain everywhere? Okay, so their drain is everywhere. So that's going to be helpful for sustain on the team. And then we may even slot in a healer on the team. So stay tuned. We're going to see how these characters pan out. I've already been targeting these characters for farming. Both Emma has a node, and Maddie is in one of the stores. So try to get them up as soon as possible for the raid. See you soon.